It's time for the Film Crickets with Jay Fortier, Chris Martineau, and Melanie Howerton. On this week's episode, Doug Palmieri returns to the show and helps the Crickets on their month-long review of horror films.
Well, I didn't know you wanted to get involved with the discussion, Mr. Helper.
Jay, Chris, Melanie, and Doug review the 1986 American comedy horror film, House. Does it stand the test of time? Let's find out. Your Film Crickets are on now.
I love it. Hello, friend. Well, and Chris is coughing, so he likes it that much. So welcome to the Film Crickets. My name is Jay Fortier, and I am along with my good friend Chris Martineau.
Hi, guys. How's it going?
Just kidding. How's it going, everybody?
All right. And we also have co-host and good friend Melanie Howerton. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Playing the role of mime is Melanie Howerton.
People can listen and they're not watching, so I just waved. But
oh, you're waving? Yeah. It's also on audio.
That's true.
For those that are listening, she waved. So no, but you know what? We're psyched. You know, the last time we had him here, we did the From Dusk Till Dawn, and it's Doug Palmieri, and he is from now 93.3 and 94 HJY. Welcome, man.
Hey, man. Thanks for having me back.
Yeah.
Although this movie was a little rough.
Sure was.
A little rough. Little rough.
Yeah.
So did we decide? So Doug, when you decided to come back on the show, did you know that was House your suggestion, or did we say, hey, we're doing House? And
no. Yeah, I think you said, hey, we're doing House. I loved House when it came out. I watched it a lot.
Yeah.
It was on VHS and wherever else you could get it. And I'll tell you, I thought it was a great movie. So when you said it, I'm like, this is awesome. I'll watch it again. It's been so long.
Yep.
And I watched it yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It didn't quite hold up. I mean, I still enjoyed it, but it was not what I remember.
No.
Yeah.
You know?
Have you ever heard a record stop midstream? Not the screech, but I'm talking about. That's kind of how it felt. Like it's like, wow,
Exactly.
all right, here's House. I can't. And then you're like, uh-oh.
Yep.
So, Chris, to answer your question,
Yes.
this was actually your doing.
It was. I forgot. Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. I did. I forgot. All right. Sorry, Doug.
We remembered it
when you asked
fondly
the
too,
question,
probably.
I'm like, oh
yeah.
man, COVID was rough.
Yeah, I forgot.
He forgot he suggested this.
I did. You're right. You're right.
And then I tried
think
to say, can we do another movie because it's not really horror and it's horror month? And Jay was like, no, because Chris really wanted to do it because he picked this.
I don't really want to do. That's fine. Don't throw this on me.
He didn't pick it because he loves it. He picked it because you said that you remembered it being good, and then like you started to. I think you had seen it recently within the last year or so. And you're like, yeah, it doesn't. Like it's really like not as cool as it used to be.
Well, yeah. Well, it's an interesting. I want to see how everybody else would react to it because I think a lot of people, and Doug included, I think a lot of people saw this when it came out. I think it was in high I didn't have cable, but was it in high rotation on cable?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it probably was. I mean, I definitely saw it in the movies, with The Greatest American Hero in it as well, which was a show I watched a lot of as a kid. It was pretty exciting, and I think that I remember watching it on VHS, though, and not infrequently. Like, it was one of those that we watched kind of a lot, and whenever it was on cable, and liked. My friends and I would look forward to it and really enjoyed it, and I can't figure out why. Yeah. I mean, I know I was an idiot and 16 or whatever, 15 years old, but I guess technology has come so far. Like it was great because it was funny, and it didn't take itself too seriously, which was a positive. It was like Evil Dead 2 had that sort of vibe too, which was a great movie and remains a great movie. This one, not so much.
See, funny, that's a stretch, man. I don't know how funny it actually is. And that's what I remember when I saw it. Because again, I was in the same boat. Like I'm pretty sure I watched it on a duped or dubbed, VHS taped with my friends a couple of times, like at least twice with a couple of friends, and we're just like, this, and it's like a gateway drug horror movie. I was thinking of this earlier, and I think Melanie probably can back me up on this with her love for Poltergeist as well. But it's like, I started real young in horror. Like the first horror movie I really saw sat down was The Thing, and I was way too young, and it was way too much. for obvious reasons. It's way too much. Like, I felt nauseous and had to leave the room, right? So then I didn't do horror movies for quite some time. And then the next thing I saw was probably House. And I'm like, oh, it's okay. Like, it's safe. Horror movies are safe. I just saw the wrong one. And then you work your way back up. And then Poltergeist. And then finally The Thing again. And I think, like, I just don't know why, like, I remember no one saying anything bad about this movie when they saw it. And it doesn't make a lot of narrative sense, like, at all. I do have some comments on it, but it's so... Anyway, so we've already established at this point, we're going into the movie, we're talking about House. Usually at this point we say, when was the last time you saw it? Doug, you saw it last night. I had seen it.
I watched it again for the first time in a long time.
But before that, a good long gap. Me too. I watched it probably. I moved to Maryland in February. I know I watched it when I still lived in Connecticut. Wasn't that far away. I just saw it up there. I'm like, oh, House. I used to like that, Yeah. And then we watched it, and then I'm like, well, let's try to see what other people feel about it. It was in high rotation for me. Jay, what's your deal with House, man? What's the last time? What's your history with House?
I saw it a lot in 1985 or whatever, or 86. Like, depends on when it was released to cable, because I think it's an 85 theatrical release.
Yep.
Right? And then, who knows when it was specifically on cable. But either way, I saw it a lot. We all liked it. Everybody liked it. It was fun. I mean, it spawned a sequel.
Yes, well, actually, 4 of them.
3.
Yeah, I know.
There's a House 4.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, there's a 4th movie.
3 sequels, yeah.
Right. And a couple of years ago, I started it and got bored real quick, but I didn't chalk that up to it being bad or anything. I just assumed I was not in the mood for this film.
Yep.
So I like this time around, I was forcing myself to watch it because of the show. So, and then I realized, ooh, this ain't good. This has got some major problems to it, and I don't know, we'll get to all the details, but
sure.
So Melanie, right? Melanie's next.
What's your deal?
Okay, so I just remember seeing it a lot when I was younger, and I liked it, and of course I was watching it with my mom because we watch movies all the time together. And if anybody's wondering why it's always my mom I'm watching movies with, it's because I grew up, she was a single mom. And then we were just always really close, and that was kind of the thing that we always did, was watch movies.
That's cool.
She used to take me to the drive-in when I was like bitsy, and we'd watch movies together. But we always watch movies together. So we just always watched this, and we either like recorded it off of VHS from cable, like somehow, or we just had it was. I know we had like the tape, and so I always remember us thinking that it was cute and funny, and that we liked it. So. I know I watched it, like you said. I don't know if it was on Hulu, it was on something, but I saw it and I said, oh, just like one of you guys said, oh, I haven't seen this in a while. I remember liking it. And I put it on and I never finished it. So I think it was just because I was busy or something. I don't know. It's just, I don't know. I wasn't into it as much, and I just never finished watching it.
Yeah.
So I watched it for this last week. And again, I was doing stuff and never finished watching. I had to watch it like 3 times to get through it before I got end of it, but I did still think it was cute. I mean, not the same, but I mean, there are some funny parts. I think a lot of cute lines come from Harold next door.
Sure. Well, yeah, poor old George.
I'll save the rest of it for later.
The tagline, and I'm going to throw it out there. I'm sorry, Jay. Do we have a 1-minute breakdown or no?
No, he was.
No. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. All right. So this movie, House. If you look at the poster, it's got a fantastic poster. Why would you not rent this movie if you saw it at the Blockbuster? It's a doorbell with a rotting hand, and it's about to ring the doorbell, and the tagline is "Ding dong, you're dead," which makes it sound like it's either going to be a zombie movie from the poster or it's going to be a slasher. Gentlemen and ladies, is it?
No. And they never showed that in the movie either. That hand ringing the doorbell never happened.
Yeah, because they're all
no, but I think it's that. Isn't it kind of that woman's hand, like
this severed hand that was on the little boy at a certain point?
It doesn't know. It looks better on the poster if that's what it is.
Yes, it didn't look like.
Oh yeah, it didn't look like a rubber.
Yeah, it's. Oh my God, I don't want to talk about it. Oh, let's do this. So we're gonna go the IMDb 1-sentence breakdown, and then we can start talking about the movie. We've got. So we have House coming out in 1985, rated R. Sure. Why wouldn't it be? At a brisk 1 hour and 33 minutes, I really appreciate short movies. Director Steve Miner, written by Fred Decker, Ethan Wiley, starring William Katt, Gary Lenz, and George Wendt. One sentence breakdown is: a troubled writer moves into a haunted house after inheriting it from his aunt. Wow, that leaves off quite a bit. As mentioned before, it's starring William Katt, Kay Lenz, George Wendt, Richard Mall, Mary Staven, and a host of others who I do not recognize, except Stephen Williams as cop number 4, and that was the African-American cop, and I know him because I've been rewatching the X-Files, and he's the kind of the informant for Fox Mulder during season 3. I think he was on 21 Jump Street on Fox, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he's been on a bunch of things. Yeah, absolutely.
But he's cop number 4, so this is obviously pretty early in his career. Still got that great voice. Yeah. All right, so House. So let's talk about House. I don't know where you guys are on cooking, and cooking food for yourself. But
say that.
Why?
Yes.
I don't. Is that why they had to start putting "please remove from box"?
Yeah.
On the microwave.
I literally wrote that down.
What is happening?
Yeah, he's like, fuck it, I'll just throw the whole thing in there.
It doesn't work.
There are so many moments. There are so many moments in this movie that you're gonna go, okay, no, like, no. Like, I know this is skipping ahead, but screw it.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, I think it was a lot of like, let's just cut this scene once. No retakes. Yep. That's it.
Yep.
Done. Let's go. Put it in the can.
We're about to say now, like, that's all in the writing here. Okay, you're a single mom. You just met this guy 5 seconds ago.
Oh, God.
And you're going to bring your child over to be watched by him. You're not even semi-upset that he gave him a bath.
Yeah. Yep.
And more than that, when she can't find him, he comes out of the bathroom and, fixing his pants, and he's crying.
Wow.
Okay. I noticed that. Wow. I wrote that down.
Which is like, obviously.
I'm like, okay. And he had to go potty.
All right. To be fair to the anyone who did not see this movie that's listening to this right now, he didn't do anything wrong. The kid just happened to be crying because, I'm just saying, I want to make sure that's clear. But really, that doesn't alarm you in any way that the kid is fresh and clean. Like when you go to pick him up, and it's meaning in the sense.
It was a strange choice, I think, for the writers to work that in, and there was no real need for it either. It didn't. Nothing terribly scary happened in the bathtub.
No, it didn't.
No. Just I'm saying in general, he felt he had to because the kid ended up in the chimney. But
right.
What I'm saying is, how does that not seem weird?
It's not weird to her because when she dropped him off, do you remember her saying, "This is his blanket, this is his rubber ducky for his bath time"? I'm like, she expects him to give him a bath too.
Yeah.
So
okay.
She gave him all of these things for bath time.
Yep.
Yeah. You did zero vetting. You met this guy. First off, you were swimming in his pool.
Right.
Yes.
Without asking.
Wait a minute. Even better than that, she said she was swimming in the pool in the pool because the aunt let her swim in there. You must have heard the aunt died, right?
Right. Yeah.
So usually that's when those privileges get cut off. Just throwing it out there. Little awkward, I would say. It's like
they needed to build some sexual tension somewhere in an R-rated movie.
I know. Why is Doug?
Why hoping that?
Why is it R? Because they said one F-bomb. There's one F-bomb.
That's why, I guess.
The weird, severed things and the shotgun blast to the chest on the. No, I'm not. I'm reaching here. I'm not agreeing with the, MPAA. I'm just saying. I don't know. Maybe that's what they think. Maybe in 1985 that was a big deal. Like all these weird things that we're talking about. They've probably adjusted since then.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Well, more about Tanya when he's like, I gotta go. I have work to do, and she's like. I mean, what is the point of this? I can tell when a man wants to work, and I can also tell when a man wants to play. Really?
Yeah.
So she's trying to pretend this. And I even said to my husband, "That's not a sexual thing. Is not a sexual thing." And we're not dumb. She's coming on to him, and I can tell when a man wants to play. If a girl came up to you in a bathing suit and said that to you in that way, you'd be thinking she's coming on to me because that's what she was doing.
Yep.
So then she shows up at his door unannounced, and she's like, "Are you ready to play? All dressed up? This is my son. He wants to play."
Yeah.
Okay, so a grown man, this is what he's thinking. Geez, I'm home alone. I really wish I just had this little boy to play with. Like, how weird is that?
And that's the sentence for the episode. I'm home alone and I want this little boy to play with.
We isolate her saying that.
And I didn't even mean it like that. I meant like I wasn't even thinking of that way, but I was thinking of like, why would this guy be like, geez, I'm so bored and lonely. I wish I had a little kid to run around the house and play with and give him a bath and whatever.
You know, that's why the house is haunted. It's actually built on the former site of Neverland Ranch. Not a lot of people know that. All right, so oh, what? Too soon? What? Too soon?
No. I'm saying it's haunted in 1985 when Michael Jackson was alive.
Yeah, whatever. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? You know what I don't want?
Use the Force Ghost.
What's that?
What?
He used the Force Ghost.
It's the Force Ghost. Yes, he projected himself across.
Right.
I don't know how many of I don't want to assume. I personally don't want randomly out of nowhere my ex-wife just calling me to see how I'm doing. That's why just saying, throwing it out there, like, hey, so I'm at this party. I was just wondering how you were. Get out of here. What is that? Like, it's so uncomfortable from go. I mean, granted, they're not together because she blames him for his missing son. Like, I get that. Like, it's almost like they're apart because they couldn't deal with that stress. But yeah,
that happens a lot.
Yeah, I know, but it's like,
but that wasn't really addressed though. The first time she calls, you didn't know that, so it is a little bit strange. And I agree. I would prefer my ex-wife not call me.
I think he was blaming himself. I don't know if she was blaming him.
And I like how he doesn't want to seem lonely, so he makes like there's a poker game. Remember that?
Yeah.
It's like, hey guys, keep it down the poker game. I don't know, guys. It's not the '60s. Like, this isn't the Sting. This isn't poker game. Like, who still does? Is that still a thing? Was that a thing in the '80s? Like dudes with cigars.
Yeah, people. Yeah,
it was. Oh, okay. I always thought it was just like a trope. Like, and nobody actually like did it. Okay. I guess I'm uncool. I was too busy watching movies.
You'd be like, hey guys, turn down the movie.
Yeah, turn down the movie. If anything, it's like, can you look? I know, but just leave the hookers at the door. So, a question, and whenever I'm alone and I need some time for myself, and I just certainly hope that a neighbor comes over at midnight with pizza and beer, wondering how I'm doing. That wouldn't be too intrusive, would it?
Cool.
Is it?
Yeah, no, that's cool.
That's cool.
I think that's cool.
If it's George Wendt, I'd be okay with it.
Hey, Doug.
But I do have something on Harold the neighbor, and not trivia or anything. It's just from what I was watching.
Yeah.
Okay, so he was like, a couple things when he goes, hey, it's great to have a new neighbor. The woman who lived here before was nuts. Biggest bitch under the sun.
Yep.
He's like, just a senile old bag, really. Wouldn't be surprised if somebody just got, fed up with her and just offed her. You know what I mean? And he's like, she was my aunt. Heart of gold, though. Just a saint, really. Just a beautiful woman for her age. Would you like some dinner?
Yeah.
And then after, he was like, oh, are you that writer? I'm your biggest fan. Like, and that made me think of Misery and Stephen King's nightmare of not wanting to be around his biggest fan. That's a little creepy for, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. And then you're right. He shows up unannounced with pizza and beer. So.
But he also had a broken version of the novel in his back pocket.
Yeah.
When he met him, and he didn't know he was meeting him.
Right.
Okay, that's even creepier.
Right.
Yeah.
How was it?
Misery. That's Misery right there.
Misery, yeah, I know. I'm your biggest fan.
You know what, though?
What?
Guys, George Wendt, because we already knew him as Norm. We already get warmed up when we see him. Like, you know what I mean? Like he shows up and he's like this happy presence, no matter what. So we're already like okay with like, so hey, sure, he can show up, like, but he's so lovey.
But
but
don't you think he sticks out like a sore thumb? Like, I don't know. Let get your opinions on this. Like, it just seemed like they were using him because Cheers was big. Because he doesn't, like, it could have been anybody. Yeah. I mean, granted, he's really good. But I mean, for those of us that really like Cheers, it was just like, and he was all over, if I remember properly, he was all over the trailers of this movie. like he was an integral part, and he's not. He just comes up and he just kind of says George Wendt things. I mean, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I think they had a big name. I think he also probably at some point wanted to try and do something other than Cheers, and this was probably an opportunity to do that. Maybe get into the feature films, which didn't seem to really work out for him. They got Cliff in House too.
They did.
I
forgot that. Yeah. Oh my god.
Ratzenberger, the guy
that's
who played
hysterical.
Clavin on Cheers, was in the second one. So I don't know. Maybe there was just someone in casting that was. Worked well with their agents, but I mean, I would have put him all over it too. Was Night Court out at the time?
Just
going to
say that.
Out?
I would say yes.
What's
I think so, right? Because he was, that was a Bull was a big character on that.
So
he's also a big guy. He was 6'8". I looked that up. I'm like, oh my god, he's 6'8".
I didn't recognize him.
Didn't recognize. Even in the Vietnam bits?
Exactly the same.
During the Vietnam stuff, I didn't recognize him. I was like, this guy's very familiar. Like, first off, you're used to seeing someone who's bald.
Sure.
So you see them with hair, and that throws you.
Mm-hmm.
And, he wasn't playing Bull.
Yeah.
He wasn't playing that role. Like,
it was adjacent.
Okay, you disagree?
I don't think he had bullish stuff in him. I don't think Richard Mole is necessarily... the great thespian. I would say he probably has the range of a Daisy air rifle. What I am saying is that that's what I kind of put that comment down, is that like he's great in Night Court. He was great because they didn't ask him to do a hell of a lot. We wanted to somehow get into his, like he was like semi crazy, like not yet shell shocked Vietnam. In the middle of the Vietnam War. By the way, folks, we didn't mention the Vietnam War is in this movie.
Huge.
You know what I mean? And
it's a big time for those movies too. When
you're right, because everybody, that was like the big pathos. And in fact, I would say that the real depth of this movie, like I actually did an analysis of it. I want to see what you guys think. But anyway, bottom line, Richard Mole, he can't cut it. He's just not good. He's not good. George Wendt's good. No, William Catt is good and handsome. He's not good.
You know who I noticed in there? The second they showed him, he kind of was standing up and then he kind of crouched down, and I go, oh my god. I said, did you ever see Witchboard?
Yes.
Okay, well, he was also Patch from Days of Our Lives.
Oh, he's in this?
He's in it, and he just stood up and he kind of crouched down, and I said to my husband, oh my god. I said, is that the guy from Witchboard? I said, he had that patch on his face, and he goes, you mean Patch? And I said, yeah, that's right, in the Days of Our Lives. And he goes, no, that's not him. And I said, no, I swear to God, it's him. So I rewound it, and clear as day, it was him. And I looked it up, and he was in it. Yeah, a little bit.
What, in the Vietnam era?
Yeah.
Oh.
Stephen Nichols was his name. Stephen Nichols.
Stephen Nichols, yes. I remember him as Patch.
He was in it. He was one of the Vietnam guys.
Right. God. Hey, nice fake jungle, by the way. Huh?
Oh my God, that was such a set.
Nice fake jungle.
Wow.
Yeah, their budget must have been incredibly small, because you can tell they just kind of kept going with scenes, didn't recut them, and it almost looked like they found that house. It was someone's parents were on vacation for the week, and they said, let's just shoot here real quick, because it was such a beautiful house on the outside. It wasn't creepy at all.
Mm-hmm. It wasn't.
And it had the flowers and the plantings, and the inside was a little creepy, but it was it wasn't like your typical horror movie house.
I never really thought of that. You're right. It's not. It doesn't look all gothic. It's called House, but it's actually a nice. I never really wonder if that's what they were going for, though. Like
they made it look better like that, because all the flowers that you see, they had planted a lot of those, and they had to reseed the lawn. And then that walkway that was in the front with the flowers on the side, that was not even there. When people were stepping on it, that was like plywood or something that was spray painted. After the movie, the people liked what they did, and they put in a real sidewalk there.
No, all right.
And I have it in trivia, but since you brought it up, it belonged to two brothers. They were firefighters.
Okay.
And then the house, the Victorian house that was built in 1887. Oh, and so the interior scenes aren't even the house. Like all the stuff that you see in the interior, that was a set, and it was a 2-story set. But the outside is real. Yeah.
Where did they shoot it? Is it Cali? Do you know?
It's California, and I thought I wrote down the town, but I guess I didn't. But
I just wondering.
California, yeah.
They
spent
guys,
4 weeks modifying it. They put fake things on the top of the roof and stuff that weren't there too.
All right.
So most of the budget went to the house.
Yeah. I wonder what's the budget compared to Killer Clowns from Outer Space?
$22 million.
Oh my God!
Whoa!
Holy shit!
All right. Okay, I'm
It should
glad
have
you
been
said
much
that.
better.
I
That
am
must have been a
so
lot for
glad
rent.
you said.
Oh, there we go.
That. No,
He's a Killer Clown. He's a Killer Clown defender. So I'm just warning you, Doug.
Okay.
All right, go ahead.
Okay.
I'm going to say this. I'm not going to take it down this deep rabbit hole. I'm just going to say that which was 3 years later, 1988. Those clowns look 10 times better than any rubber outfit.
Oh, they do,
that was in house. That lady looked terrible. I mean, it was like, this is so rubber. Like she is latex rubber. It's like brutal. And she didn't even move her. Did she even move her damn mouth when she was talking?
No.
That was awful.
No.
Oh,
you could see.
They call her the fat lady, the overweight lady monster. That's what they call her.
Oh, wow, very sensitive. Jesus.
No, it's on the point.
Overweight lady.
That's what they call her.
The overweight lady
monster.
Yeah.
Yeah. Holy Jesus. You could actually.
She was a castaway from Sesame Street.
Oh. It was actually a guy who played that. He was a stand-up comedian. That was in my trivia too. But he was a stand-up comedian. Peter Pizzoli. He plays the overweight lady monster. He's a stand-up comedian.
I'm going to say Sesame Street, but they also have a meth problem on Sesame Street as well. So that's where you get her. The teeth, the whole deal. Also, you can notice, like, I don't know if it was if it was Bull, the zombie Marine, or if it was her, but you could see the latex sleeves. Like, you could see it was a glove, and you can see where it's separated.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that scene in Evil Dead 2 where you can see the zipper on the back of the hag.
Oh my God.
But they kept it in. And obviously, and I did not notice this when I first watched it because I guess I didn't care. But I mean, you can see through Bull's mask, and you can see his lips and the black makeup. Yeah. Like that's not good.
Yeah,
that's not good. No. And because they're, and here's the other thing, like they pad the movie. So we talked about the babysitter, which is annoying. We talked about there's a lot of like kind of random scenes that don't mean anything. And so I think they just padded the movie. I think they had an idea, and I'm going to tell you what I think that idea was. But then when they did it, and as Doug has kind of mentioned, it seems like everything was one take. Just one and out. We're done. Set print. Check the gate. Moving along, and it just seems to me that they were just padding the movie. There's no reason for a lot of those scenes because they just had to get it to 90 minutes, and it comes in at 93 with the credits to be a feature that someone would actually go pay a ticket for, which Doug did.
I don't know. I think there was a reason because they were trying to build up things slowly. Like the fish, who I felt bad for. I remember feeling bad for that fish when I was younger, and I still did now. Like, I know it's a stupid rubber fish, but I felt bad for him because somebody already killed the fish and put him on a wall, and I don't like that stuff to begin with. And then he's killing him again, and he's just a fish. What did he do? And then he's looking at him all like crazy, and he puts a towel on. I don't know. I felt bad for the fish, but I think that they kind of did all these things throughout the movie to prove that, like, yes, this house really is haunted. All these weird things going on in the house. I don't know.
I will give.
Well, you think that there was an idea that maybe was a good one, and if they had been able to get some actors who were not name actors at all, they maybe could have made a much better movie and maybe had better effects. But I think a lot of the money probably went to George Wendt and Kat, and a decent amount, I'd imagine.
Yeah,
and it kind of hamstrung them a little bit. They probably put a lot of dough into that when he goes through the mirror, which I actually like that one scene where it's pitch black around him, and whatever they did with the sort of stop action stuff in there probably wasn't too inexpensive. But yeah, it seems like they couldn't do what they had wanted to do, which was probably some heavy deal with Vietnam and what the people go through when they got back, and that it seems like there was an idea there that a studio got and said, rewrite this and make it a horror movie.
Yeah, Doug, since you brought it up, I'm gonna say what I think the movie was trying to do. I think generally obviously you're right. We have these Vietnam parallels. He obviously can't face the guilt from his own experience of Vietnam, particularly with what the hell's Martin Mull's name?
In that,
Martin Mull?
What's it? Ben.
Not Richard Mull. Sorry, not Martin Mull.
Ben.
Sorry.
Ben?
The character in the movie.
The character in the movie. What
Ben.
the hell's his name?
Big Ben.
Big Ben. Sorry. Yeah,
Big
thank
Ben,
you.
yeah.
He couldn't deal with the guilt of Big Ben, and he couldn't deal with the guilt of losing his son, even though it was magical how he lost his son. So I think in this movie, he's constantly chasing from ghosts, right? Either the ghosts of his memory or actual real ghosts. And it also so happens that the actual real ghosts are ghosts from his past. PTSD. So that it's all like it's him chasing his past and things that he can't deal with, right? And the way that he deals with things is either writing books or being alone, and that's not any way to deal with anything. And so I think there's a nugget of an idea there, right? That you're running from your emotional ghosts, and you're running from actual physical ghosts who happen to be your emotional ghosts, which is a really, really kind of cool idea. But the execution is so out of control. This movie makes zero narrative sense. I'll agree with Melanie in that it's a slow build to the end, but we have all these little, all right, so there's a haunted fish. By the way, I don't care they don't explain why the house is basically some weird vortex portal where you can travel in time and ghosts can come through and demons can come in from other dimensions, something. I'm okay with them not explaining that to me.
It finds out what your biggest fears are, right? That was the thing that the aunt kind of got at when she hung herself.
But what I like right, Doug. But what I like about that is they don't blame it on, well, there was a necromancer that lived here and killed a bunch of people, or it's on an Indian burial ground, or no, it's just fucking haunted and that's it. And weird shit goes down here, and it's gonna go to your deepest fear, which I like. They don't have to spoon feed that to me. Sometimes it's cool, and sometimes it's not. Like there's no book that they have to destroy in order to close the portals. It's just, it's there, and that's fine, right? Jay, what's up?
No, I was gonna say. That being said, you don't need those two ugly kids or whatever the hell they are up the chimney.
Yes,
freaking they looked terrible. Yeah. They made no sense whatsoever. It's not like, oh, this old Vietnam veteran zombie guy has recruited these weird minions. Why are they there? They you know what I mean? And I'm not saying that needs to be explained. How about have something else? Because they looked.
I agree.
Awful.
Yeah, I was just thinking that too when he said that. I was like, why were they there? One thing I did notice when when the overweight lady monster comes to the house and it's his wife at first, right? That's what they're calling her in the script, okay?
I know, well,
sure, Miss Judgy, that's fine.
So that's
go ahead, Judgy.
Exactly her name in the thing. So anyway, when she comes to the house, it's first his wife, and then she bends down to pick up that shell that he dropped, and all of a sudden it's that monster. So he shoots her, and then it turns into, back to her again, and he's like, oh my god, it can't be you, and he's like crying and everything. Okay, so don't you think that you would automatically, after the police leave, that you would call her and see if she's okay, to see if that was really her or not? Because you don't know what's going on in that house. If it was really her and it turned into that thing, or if the house is messing with your head, you don't know what's going on. So I don't understand why he never called her just to confirm that it wasn't her. I was thinking that the whole time.
Guys,
anybody?
Yeah.
Sorry,
no, I got nothing for you on that one, Mel.
Another dumb
no idea.
Here. It's check. I have to keep checking these boxes. How does George Wendt have his ex-wife's number? George
I saw that. You didn't see that?
He stole the phone book.
Okay, I didn't see that. I was like,
he stole the phone book.
He's just calling her.
He stole it off the table on the way out.
Okay,
he thought he was acting crazy.
I must have looked down or something. But thank you guys, because that was wacky.
Why does Gerald have a big pink phone? Isn't he single?
Yes, he does. Yes, I love his big pink phone.
Why does he have this huge pink phone? I noticed that too.
Hey, it's cool. Guys can have pink phones.
Okay.
Sorry, Miss Judgy doesn't like the old big rubber lady. Doesn't like that he has a pink phone.
I like the rubber lady with the pink phone. I had a pink phone too. But I was just so I don't know why he has a big pink phone and he's single. I don't get it.
There's a couple of things that I just want to just broadly mention. Like everybody, like Doug J and Mel and me, we've all talked about these things that he's done. He shot his wife maybe, but didn't call his wife. There's a haunted fish. There's floating tools that sound like airplanes when they fly at you. There's a monster in the closet that only comes out at midnight. There's a rubber old fat lady. There's two demon children in the chimney. All this stuff happens at midnight, which, by the way, is when everybody comes to visit him, is at midnight with pizza and beer. But let's all not forget that when midnight happens and then that day's escapades are done, eventually he goes to sleep in a wagon bed. The next morning he looks he looks just as refreshed as can be. That man gets a real good night's sleep. He doesn't look harrowed. He doesn't look haggard. He doesn't look tired. He's just like, hey guys, what's happening? Like, who is this guy? Is he taking the meth from the old rubber fat lady? I mean, how is he keeping his shit together this well? Like, he shouldn't be. He's time traveled twice in the movie, and it feels like everything's just normal.
And he's happy a lot of times.
Yeah, like he's just cool. He's just kind of doing his thing and like problem solving. I'm like, no, I would have been
they were
crying.
definitely shooting everything out of order, and they just showed up on the set and said, okay, do this, do that, without any context, is my guess.
Yeah.
And then they slapped it all together at the end.
It's very much, Doug, I think I agree, because it's very much, and I've said it before in this podcast and other people have said it, it's an and then script. And then this happens, and when that's over, and then this happens, and when that's over, and then this, and then the kids in the pool, and then this. And they just keep...
Or didn't you think it was cute when he saw the monster in the closet, finally, and then he, like, immediately the next scene, stuff is getting delivered. It's all the military stuff. And then he's running outside with all of his military outfit. Skidding down. Yeah, and he's skidding down the sidewalk, and he's like, yes! And then Harold's like, hey, what's going on? He's like, nothing, you know? I just thought that was cute.
And that's what I mean about the comedy. Like, I don't remember, I think I was supposed to laugh at him skidding.
I did. I thought it was cute.
No. I'm not saying it's not funny. Yeah. But I'm wondering if, like, when they made the movie and said it's a horror comedy, whatever, like, those are the gags? Or you're lying just letting George Wendt do the heavy lifting, who is also, he's a deadpan guy anyway. He just kind of says stuff. By the way, George Wendt, one of our finest eating actors ever. He can act and eat at the same time so well. Like, and chew and talk and eat all at the same. It's genius. I don't know how he does it, because if I do it, I look terrible. But he can somehow manage it. And he's been doing it on Cheers. Maybe that's why they got him. Like, we need a guy that can drink beer and act at the same time. And he does a great job. So,
and I like the close talking scene when he was trying to hold his arm when he was eating. And he was trying to put his stuff in his mouth, and he was really close talking, like, and he goes, and I guess you're trying to take a picture of it. He's like, yeah, I am. You know, just whatever you're saying. It was like, he was like right in his face, and he was like, okay, time to go. He's a little crazy.
Yep. Why does he have a harpoon gun? All right, sorry.
I know, but I gotta ask, who did the costumes? Because that sweater,
sweater is so sexy,
dude. That's a V-neck on steroids. Like Ace Frehley, I think, designed that V-neck. Like, it goes down. It's an 80s thing.
Like, you can picture John Johnson wearing something like that. Come on.
But that was right above his navel.
Yeah.
I've never seen a V-neck like that.
The sleeves rolled up.
Yeah.
Do you think he waxes? That man's got zero body hair.
I could swear I remember Bruce Willis wearing a sweater like that was tan or white in a movie as well.
Ugly.
I swear. It's like an 80s thing. I don't know.
With nothing under it?
Maybe I think it would have been better if it were Argyle, but also, like, throw a T-shirt on under that man. Like, I don't know how much I want to see the Greatest American Nipples. I'm just throwing it out there.
He's always going to be the Greatest American Hero. Every time I see him, I think of that. Although he wasn't Carrie as well, but I always just think of him as the Greatest American Hero because you grew up watching that, and that's just who he is. It's like,
love that
no matter what he does, that's who he is. What'd you say?
I said I love that theme song.
Yeah, me too.
Oh. But he, you know, in the sad part about William Cann, again, I don't know if they shot him out of order, but like I did forget he was the Greatest American Hero. Like I was buying it until he tried to act like crazy, like when he was talking to George Wendt, like, yeah, I'm gonna take a picture of that. Like I was buying it. I was buying his loneliness. I was buying his escape. That he was trying to escape and not try to face reality of what happened in his life. But then when he tried to have him do anything other than that, I wasn't digging it. I wasn't buying it.
Oh yeah, it was a paycheck movie, I think, for him. I mean, it wasn't. I mean, that $22 million seems high. That they spent that on it in 1985 with his, because they were starting to do some pretty amazing things technically with, horror movies at that time, and this one was not on a list of some of the best makeup of the 80s for horror movies. So that they kind of, I think they were cashing in on that stuff becoming popular at that point, the Vietnam stuff. It's like they threw everything that was working in 1985 into one movie, and then, like you said, mispromoted it, and trick people into going,
Yep.
and then didn't deliver. I mean, but I think it was really just what can we get, and maybe it was VHS was sort of starting to happen then, and cable TV, and you'll make some money from that. Maybe it was just sort of an educated guess to make a few bucks with some name brand actors in there, and everybody was just getting their paycheck.
It's kind of odd. Home. Yeah, I agree. And I think it's kind of odd because it's from the production team of Friday the 13th 2 and 3. It's Steve Miner and Sean Cunningham.
Damn it, Steve. That's in my. Steve. Chris. That's in my trivia. I have 3 Friday the 13th things in there.
I'm sorry. I'm the director guy, so I always look at that sort of thing, right?
There's one aspect he left off. So.
Okay. Yeah, I have 3 things. There's 3 ties to Friday the 13th in this.
Okay. So.
But they did say in the beginning of the movie when he was writing a book, his is it editor or whatever? He was like, nobody wants to hear about Vietnam anymore. He did say that, and he was like, but I have to write this book. So it's kind of weird that the whole thing. I guess it's really supposed to be about, like you said, it's supposed to be about him going through all the troubles and all the things trying to get through his life, and then. Right. But do you guys think that the house made his aunt crazy, or do you think she really wasn't crazy?
I think, that's a really good question.
She was doing all that weird art. Yeah. They kept showing those creepy pictures.
Yeah. But that was everything that was going on in the house.
Might have been a little bit of both.
The things that were chasing her and all this other stuff. But that's so funny you said that, because remember when the cop was like looking at that picture of all wasn't it the picture of like all the things that were chasing in the lawn whatever. And he goes, my aunt's an artist. And the cop goes, yeah, I guess.
I guess. Thanks.
Yeah.
Well, it's weird because the demon lady, the fat lady, overweight
monster lady,
gets killed by
the
weapons that are being controlled by the spirits.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Why would they kill her? Well, maybe because they were out of control. He just opened up the door really quick and it shot her. That's what it was aiming for him.
Oh, what toilet? Hey guys, what toilet do you have?
Oh my God,
that can handle a flush like that?
Yes.
Dude, I want that toilet.
Honestly,
I don't care how much. I can't even put toilet paper down there, but there's half of an arm down there too.
I don't know. I don't care how much Chipotle I've had. There is. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Holy moly.
That is so
what can handle a hand?
Yeah.
Oh, a fat hand.
And part
from
of
a
an
fat
arm.
from a fat Meth Sesame Street character. I mean, holy smokes.
I love that. I like your new name for it. I think we're going to have to do that new name.
Fat Meth, whatever. I'm going to keep turning it into something else.
That's right.
I don't. You see, like the bottom of that toilet bowl. Like, I don't know, guys. Like, I know, like, it actually curves. Like, toilet bowls curve.
Yeah.
And it's just a shaft straight down.
You can actually see a blackness when the hand went down. So it's almost like like in a motorhome. And you press the thing and it opens up.
Ew.
Airplane toilet.
And flies come up? Yeah.
No.
That happened once. Mayflies come flying up out of it. Yay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was my face.
There was a couple other funny lines too, like when he was watching his wife on the soap opera and it was really stupid, and she's like, "My sister, an only child, and you abused her." My sister, who is an only child.
Yeah.
And then he's sitting there going, "I've been a male prostitute ever since I was little, or something."
Yeah,
no, he says my whole life, or I don't know, but yeah, just little things like that they threw in. I don't know. And I noticed the Vicks Vapor Rub inside the medicine cabinet, which was such an 80s thing. And my mother puts that stuff on every single thing. It doesn't matter if you have an insect bite, a cut, a burn, if you have a rug burn, whatever. She just thinks, she'll have my kids come downstairs when they're little. Let me put some Vicks on it. And then she puts Vicks and a Band-Aid on like everything. So to have that old jar of that Vicks in the cabinet, I'm like, that is so 80s. Like,
well, they also had Formula 44 in there as well.
Well, it was very
Vicks, a lot of Vicks.
There was heavy product placement. This is Toshiba. This is like all these things like
Miller High Life.
Yeah, that's right.
Cans. That's right.
Everything was very specific. I mean,
maybe they were
like
sponsoring
in the Karate Kid. The Karate Kid when he's he comes in the next day like from his beach party and he's got the sunglasses on. He has to, she's like, "Are you on something?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm on Minute Maid."
Yeah.
Yeah, and then like there was another part where he's like sitting there with a Sprite can, and he has to spin it, so the word Sprite is
nice.
You know, it's just funny, like stuff like that. This is like that. Like it's like, okay, just so you know, Vix is big into the house movie.
I also, and I didn't want to be. I know I'm always too picky, but like his aunt. Yeah, I know. His aunt dies. He walks into the house fully furnished, so it makes it sound like she died, and then whatever was there was there.
Yeah.
And I know that we didn't see the scene, but all I could think of was, because like when I would go over my grandmother's house when she was still with us, you know, before she passed, and I would go visit, and you go in her medicine cabinet, you know, and like you go to like, you know, if I stay over and like you brush your teeth if you're sleeping over or whatever, right? Like I was little, sorry. And like all I can think of is like going into that house and he's using all of her toiletries and like health and beauty care stuff from like who knows how old. So yeah, that Vicks was there. How old is that Vicks bottle? You know what I mean? How, you know what I mean? Like looking at the toothpaste, like he didn't go get fresh toothpaste, probably. So he's like using a dead woman's toothpaste and toothbrushes. Like that's all I can think of. Like he didn't.
But it was also weird.
He didn't actually.
Well, they show that he says that he lived there when he was a kid. And then his son, it was like he was doing all the yard work and stuff, and seemed to be living there with his wife and kid too. At one point, which was a little strange. They didn't really get that chronology straight, I don't think, at any point. But they probably only had two places to shoot. It was George Wendt's living room and then the house. You know, that was it. They couldn't really bounce around too much. But that is true though. He was using a lot of old lady stuff while he was there.
That's all I can like picture. Like, it's still good. Brush.
I'm sure he brought his own toothbrush.
That's all I can think of. I know that they don't need to show me the scene of the greatest American hero going down to Sesame Street supermarket and getting toiletries.
Speaking about, we were talking about music, you know, like theme songs. My daughter's English teacher, her professor, is now listening to us on our show. And
oh, God.
Him and his wife are doing it. His name is Eric. And they keep telling Emma, oh, my God, this theme song for the Film Crickets is stuck in our head. We can't get it out of our head. We're going to bed with this in our head. We're walking around singing the Film Crickets. And he goes, it's very effective, he said. So
I guess so. It's an earworm.
Yeah.
Thank you,
so we have
Draco Malfoys.
Yeah. Yep. So we have some more listeners, and they're Emma's professor and his wife, and
cool.
Got that song stuck in his head.
We are shoehorning our way into academia while we talk about the old meth weird Sesame Street lady. All right, hit it. What do we got?
All right, this is cool. I just want to thank Steve Lavoie for this because he did a great job. I threw the idea at him, and he came up with this.
It's time for TMI with Melanie.
Listen to this. I am in the bathroom right before the movie starts. And I'm in the stall, and there's no toilet paper.
And mine are at home in a display case above my bed. TMI, my friends.
TMI? Too much information. Don't go there, but that's lame.
Now, here's Melanie with your timeless movie info.
Thanks, Steve Lavoie, for that great intro that all of us heard. Really, I'd like to, thank him for working hard on that. And now it's time for TMI, which also stands for Timeless Movie Info. So here we go with it, Melanie.
Okay, so I just have a few things. First, I want to bring in the Friday the 13th thing. So 3 people on this movie actually worked with Friday the 13th. One of them was Steve Miner. He worked for the original Friday the 13th, and then part 2 and 3, H2O, Lake Placid, Day of the Dead, The Wonder Years, Dawson Creek, Smallville, all that. Sean Cunningham worked for also Friday the 13th, Jason Goes to Hell, Jason X, Freddy vs. Jason, Friday the 13th, 2009. So I thought that was kind of cool because he worked for the original Friday the 13th, but then got to do the new one. He also did Last House on the Left, 1972 and 2009, so I thought that was cool.
Wow.
My Boyfriend's Back, which is a cute comedy, just to name a few. And then the cop that you were talking about, Stephen Williams, he also played a cop in Friday the 13th, Jason Goes to Hell.
Oh. So all right.
He didn't play a cop in it. He played Creighton Duke. So
yeah,
he played a character.
Kind of a psycho guy that knows how to kill Jason.
Yeah.
He's very wide-eyed and nuts.
He's a very serious man.
Oh, actually, another thing. So the other thing about Friday the 13th is the music score by, and I might say this wrong, Harry Manfredini.
Manfredini, yep.
Yeah, he did all the music for all the Friday the 13th, so I could hear it when I read that. I did the trivia first and I watched the movie. I could hear it through the entire thing.
Sure.
You just close your eyes. It's literally, it starts off like Friday the 13th music, and then it has like a quick twist that will change into, well, this is now house music, but it's throughout everything.
And they have those stings, those kind of.
Yeah, it is like through everything. Yeah, I heard it through all of it. And then Steve's minor son was actually the little boy that Roger was tricked into babysitting.
Oh, that little bastard. Yeah. I mean, and what? Cute kid, though.
Yeah, he was really cute. And I guess he got recognized everywhere after this. William Katz's own son. William Katz's own son visited the set the day that Roger was pulled into the closet, and the boy freaked out and cried when he saw his dad was in danger.
Sure.
I guess there was a dispute between this movie and Pretty in Pink. Sean Cunningham swore that this film opened at #1, but Wikipedia swears that the rival movie Pretty in Pink was the one that came in first place. So
well, Wikipedia is always right. I mean, no one can change Wikipedia. It's set in stone.
Yeah, exactly. And then the for sale sign in the beginning of the movie has the name Craven Realty on it. Yeah, for Wes Craven.
Oh, I was, I didn't even think about that. I thought it was just because Craven means cowardly. So I was thinking more it was a reflection on William Katt as being a coward.
Oh, no, you're thinking too deeply there.
I'm a little too deep on that. All right, that's fine.
That was for Wes Craven.
Yeah,
no, that's for the English. That's for the English professors that are listening. That's all. They got to use the word Craven properly in a sentence.
Oh my God! You know what I forgot to mention about her professor? He actually writes horror movies in his part time.
Cool.
So he was like interested in horror movies and everything, and my daughter had just said that she listens to this podcast, and he started listening to it. So he likes horror movies the best, guys.
Super.
And so do I. As you know, we do too. So anyway.
Yes.
What was I going to say? Oh, there were 7 monsters that had to be made for this, and 17 special effects artists took 3.5 months to make these guys. And then the war demon was 18 feet tall and was operated by 15 people. The script was originally inspired by Twilight Zone. Oh,
I can see that.
Yeah. And this is cute. So I guess one of the producers or somebody had went to Hong Kong when this movie was out in the movies, and he was like, "Why are there so many words for the word house?" He's like, "What is that supposed to say?" So he looked it up, and what the movie was called in Hong Kong was "Don't Go Into the Haunted House After Midnight."
Nice.
And I'm like, okay, that doesn't really have anything to do with the movie, but okay.
Direct translation. I love it.
Yeah. And then Fred Decker did Night of the Creeps, which is one movie that I keep telling Jay we should do, and Monster Squad, if you guys remember that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Wolfman's Got Nards, Did you know that, Doug? The Wolfman's Got Nards?
Yes. I have that movie.
Yeah, that's right. I do know that.
Never saw Monster Squad.
No. Oh, it was cute.
I've never seen it.
Well, you said Nards.
I know the quote.
Oh, okay.
I know the quote. I know about a lot of movies. Doesn't mean I saw them.
Okay.
As you can tell from this podcast sometimes.
And then it was directed by Steve Miner, the original story, and then Fred Decker produced it. There was several boom mics that were seen throughout the film and reflections of crew members throughout the entire thing that they never fixed either.
Nice.
That's it.
Quality stuff. Nice work.
I mean, at least it was only $22 million.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Well, the Killer Clown was 1.8 million.
Right, but at least
Yeah.
I think I'm on the winning side of that.
$1 million.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. It wasn't 20 million.
I don't think so. I would rather watch House 20 times in a row than have to watch another one of Killer Clowns.
Yeah, okay,
but there's another movie where people run around a house a lot called Clue. This is actually not as good as Clue.
Okay.
I think I like Clue more than this movie. I'll give you that one.
So he's saying that because he knows I recommended that movie.
Yeah.
And he hated
Doug,
it.
were you with the movie Clue from 1985? Do you remember that one?
I think I saw it.
Yeah, I did too.
Because Tim Curry was in it, who was I was a huge fan of, and he was good in it. I thought. Was it Mr. Body?
Yeah.
It was the whole.
He was the butler. You should watch that again and then email us and let me know what you think.
Yes, please email us. I would love to know what you think. I like it.
All right. Well, that's Houses in the House. I remember a quote from House 2. There's only one line I remember, and it's at one point a virgin was being sacrificed, and a guy says, "Is that a virgin? Because if it is, I've never seen one." That's all I remember from that movie. That's it. And that was the tagline. That was in the promos.
Seriously?
Yeah. Like, wow.
Which one had the crystal skulls?
I saw it, but I think I saw that one once. That was not
it's a bad movie. Crystal
I remember
Skull.
one with an old guy. I remember one that had an old guy and a very old guy, and then there was something else that had to do with crystal skulls. Because there was
Are you talking about the sequel? What,
yeah.
For House?
Yeah.
House 2 was the only major release. It was a theater. I saw that in a theater.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Can't get that time back.
The third one was made, I think, directly for like an HBO, and then the fourth one was a direct-to-video. So the third one's harder to find than the fourth. And the fourth, I watched it once just out of curiosity, and there was it was some really, really disgusting stuff in there. It was like some guy foaming at the mouth and stuff. I find stuff like that revolting.
But did anyone have a gun penis? No gun penis.
Dust Till Dawn.
That was the throwback. Dust Till Dawn for Doug.
No. It was just I was talking about House. Were you guys talking about a different movie?
No.
I'm talking like an idiot talking about House sequels, and you guys are talking about the.
Not me. I don't know what the hell he's talking about.
All right.
Yes, I do. It's from Dust Till Dawn. Oh my god, I love that.
Yes. All right.
Yes.
And you know who that is, Melanie? Melanie, you know who that is, right?
Yes, I love him. It's Steve Savini.
Tom Savini. You did.
Yeah.
Love him so much.
Boy, that's twice. Twice she called somebody Steve.
I know.
Okay, well,
I'm Steve.
But remember, I called Steve Chris one time, so there you go.
Yeah, that's all right.
Okay, Steve.
They look the same. They both have the same haircut.
Yeah.
He was also in Lock and Key too.
Thanks.
Remember that? He was in Lock and Key. Did you guys see that?
Lost at Sea?
No,
Is that the one? What was? I thought he said Lost at Sea. I'm like, isn't that the dancing movie with Walter Matthau and Jack Lemmon? Oh, sorry.
Out to Sea.
That's Out to Sea.
Lock
Sorry.
and Key. He was in season 1. He actually worked in a key shop.
All right.
But I liked him from Dust Till Dawn when he was turning into a vampire and he reaches up really quick and he feels his teeth and he's like, oh shit, because he's trying to hide that he's turning into a vampire. I love that part.
I think this is turning into the hand swirling down the toilet drain. So maybe we can do the final judgment.
It's time now for final judgment. Are you ready to rubber stamp this bitch? Here's the final judgment.
Yeah, so it's time for final judgment, which is, up until this point, it has all been opinion, but now opinion becomes fact. We set in stone the answer to the question, does this movie stand the test of time? And we will start. Doug, you want to start this one?
It does not
right to
stand the test of time. Yeah, period.
Yeah.
The end.
I don't know more like, Doug, I don't know how you could expound on it more. Like, what can you expand? I mean,
I wanted it to so much because I really remember enjoying it, and I wanted it to enjoy it again. I knew it was campy and a little crappy, but I thought it would be more entertaining, from my memory than it actually was. And again, I think you look at all the advancements in what visual effects, they weren't there in 85. So even something bad wasn't as bad as it seems now then, but now it's just like it was tough to watch.
Cool. I'll go, and I agree with Doug. That's a no. It doesn't hold up. I would say that you kind of hit the nail. I think it hurts more because I do remember legit finding it entertaining, and I don't know what happened I sat there wondering, is it me? Did I become do I just suck now? Is that my problem?
Yeah.
Or is it just...
I will say I'm glad it isn't one of those that I told someone, oh, you got to watch this movie. Because you're going to love this movie. And then you're about 20 minutes in going, oh, this person's never going to listen to me again. So at least I watched it alone.
So it's like, I'm with you. And it's part of you like you wanted to, because it did have for whatever reason. I want to know what I was thinking. Don't you want to know what you were thinking back in the day?
I think I got a take on that. If you're
all right,
if you're still going, then
I'm done. It doesn't hold up. Go.
All right. So I think in 1985, nothing had been done like this. Meaning, like, how many horror comedies were there? And no, we can't count stuff that was cute and adorable, like The Ghost and Mr. Chicken and stuff like. I'm talking about
Rocky Horror Picture Show. No, I'm just kidding.
No, that's weirder. I'm talking about there was nothing out there like, you know, there was horror, like, themed comedy, like, you know, like Abbott and Costello meets the Frankenstein or whatever, you know, all those. But those were straight up comedy that had a hint of horror look, you know, feel to it. But it wasn't a horror that, like, but it's funny because this movie starts out all serious.
Yep.
I mean, with the guy going, the pizza guy, or I mean, the grocery guy going to finding the woman hanging. So I mean, it starts, and when you meet William Katt's character, right? William Katt.
Yes.
You meet
Steve
his
Katt.
character.
Steve Katt. Everybody's Steve.
Oh, everybody's Steve today. Yeah, it's William Katt. So, anyways, when you meet his character, you know, he's the serious author guy. You know, like, everything's serious for a while. It takes a while before any type of comedy to show up.
Yep.
So that.
But there was when he's doing the book signing. Is sort of where you get a bit of that, and that's like that whole cast of characters from that David Lee Roth video.
Thank you.
Know,
thank you.
Which was very, you know, in hindsight, and I had not remembered that, but it was that was when you got some comedy. But but that was just a little taste, and then it took a while for it to come back in. For sure.
It's at the beginning of the Just a Gigolo, where they're like, you know, David, you know, that guy that like has all that, like, you know, like he can barely speak. Yes, very much like in your face, and Roth did that a lot with a lot of his videos. But, like, you know, you get that there. But I'm saying, like, he's not being funny. Like, and it takes a while before things start to, like, act like they're funny. It's serious at times, big time, and then all of a sudden, you know, you're no good, you're no good, you're no good. You know, like that with the freaking hand and the, like, all the dead body lady.
This is dedicated.
That was
so
bearing
all the pieces.
So, but I think in 1985, you know, everybody was coming around to getting cable. Like, you know, I had gotten it in '83. Some people got it a little later. Chris, poor guy, didn't get it at all until they moved out for college.
Cable.
His parents got it after he left.
Huh? Cable.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
He wants to make sure that you're saying cable.
Yeah.
Because he said poor Chris didn't get it at all.
Didn't get any at all.
No, I said cable.
I know. Keep moving on.
All right. So, no, but really, I think it was just, it hit at the right moment in the right time. It's just that it was meant to stay in 1985.
Yeah, and that's where it should go.
No, it's an absolute hard no. It does not hold up. It's not even close.
Melanie.
Okay, so no, I don't think it holds up either. But I still enjoyed watching it when I was watching it for this. So I still enjoyed it, but you know, not something that I would be like, oh yeah, you gotta watch this movie, it's awesome. Probably wouldn't really recommend it to anybody unless it was one of my kids or something. But it's cute to watch. Like, if you haven't seen it, it's cute to watch for the first time. If you haven't seen it, watch it. But you know, it's definitely worth watching one time, more than the Killer Clowns.
Yeah.
But it was no, I don't think it would hold up. I don't think if it was in the movies, people would go run out to go see it now. It's just it's very dated, and then, you know, not too much going on in the movie, really.
It pretty much is like it's the definition of our show. Like, everybody here, I think, liked it then, and nobody here. Yeah, and nobody. I mean, you said it's fine to watch. It's nothing. Like, if you just, this is dumb, whatever. It's not like it's like, you know, you're going in. We're not getting Citizen Kane, but it's like. But I think that's the definition. Like, this thing is the show. Like, we loved it then, and it's just, we don't know why now. You know, that's it. So that's the show, man. So no, it doesn't hold up. I agree. So super.
That was our show, and I'd like to thank Doug Palmieri for joining us today. Just remind people how to find you.
Yeah, 94 HJY on your FM dial. Also now 93.3. We do mornings over there, afternoons on HJY. Thanks for having me. It was a good time.
Thanks, Doug.
Absolutely, man. Thank you for joining us.
Fantastic.
I'd also like to thank Steve Lavoie for our intro, and Draco and the Malfoys for our theme music. And apparently, we're not alone for loving it, because Melanie's daughter's professor, did you say his name is Eric?
Yep. And his wife. They both listen to it, walking around with the song stuck in their head.
God.
That's great. Yeah. Well, thanks, everybody. Have a great week. On behalf of Chris and Melanie, I'd like to thank everybody for joining us. And till next time, movies may not age like fine wine, but we drink them anyway. Bye.
about movies.